How tanked loose laid liner came about. This is our story. Today, you're being introduced to tanked waterproofing, but our story starts many years before. The founders of tanked waterproofing have more than 50 years of collective experience in tiling and waterproofing, with the last 10 years specifically focused on remediation work. However, we haven't just been doing the work, we've also developed and sold products for the industry. After a decade in remediation, we realised that much of the knowledge that we had gained through experience was not well known in the industry, even among those responsible for designing the regulations governing it. Instead of simply pointing the finger, we asked ourselves, what positive impact could we have on the industry by solving this issue? Let me take you through a snapshot of our journey. Having worked on over 1,000 remediation projects, both large and small, the first thing we recognise is that the primary cause of waterproofing failures is movement. In fact, 75% of the projects we worked on involved frame construction using timber, steel, or a combination of both, unlike poured concrete substrates which tend to settle after about 7 years. Frame structures experience increasing movement over time. The next thing we learned is that waterproofing directly adhered to the surface has no elongation. When you hear about class 1, 2 or 3 waterproofing, with class 3 being the highest, the elongation these classification refers to occurs only when there is a separation between the membrane and the surface, such as a bond breaker. Bond breakers are installed around perimeters, at wall-to-wall junctions and where large sheets join. However, these areas account for only about 5% of the total surface. The large sheets used in construction typically measure 1,200 or 20 foot by 2,400 or 4 foot by 8 foot, while the framing members supporting them are spaced out at about 600 mil or 2 feet apart. These framing members move independently, creating micro movements. This explains why even when class 3 membranes are used, they often fail when movement occurs. So how do we fix this issue? You can't stop movement in a home. It is caused by environmental factors. The only way to prevent movement-related failures is to stop the movement from affecting the membrane. The issue wasn't that the membrane wasn't flexible enough. It was that the membrane was adhered to the surface. If the membrane wasn't adhered to the surrounding structure, it could move significantly without impacting the membrane's functionality. This realisation led us to the first piece of the puzzle. The membrane needed to be loose-laid rather than adhered to the surface. The next question was what material to use. Builders have successfully used plastics to prevent rising damp beneath slabs and in brick courses for years, with no failures. Additionally, plastics does not break down over time. So the next piece of the puzzle was that the membrane needed to be made of plastic. But not just any plastic. Our plastics needed to be resistant to bleach and detergents. Since it was to be installed before the screed and wall sheeting, it also needed to be tough enough to withstand construction without being easily damaged. We developed a specially formulated plastic material infused with a cross-action scrim in the middle for added durability. The final piece of the puzzle was installation. We needed a way to use a single piece of liner with no joints, creating a tray or pond liner effect. This way, no matter how much water gets in, it would be contained within the liner, preventing water from reaching the foundations. This liner, which is installed on the frame and floor sheets, is our last line of defence. After the screed and sheets are installed above the liner, we next apply our proprietary liquid-applied polyurethane membrane over the sheets and screed with adequate force to drainage. This prevents water from showers, baths, and kids from soaking into the screed or sheeting and holding water. If water does get in through the grout, it will simply run along the surface off to the membrane until it reaches the drain. Each waterproofing layer comes with its own warranty, and when working together you can receive up to 25-year warranty. The only potential room for error lies in the installation process, damaging the waterproofing layers. That's why we offer our products for both DIYers and tradespeople, but we additionally provide full bathroom supply and installation services, including waterproofing, sheeting and tiling. By handling everything in-house, we ensure that there is only one company responsible for any warranty claims. As both the product manufacturers and the installers, we take full accountability for our work. Thank you for taking a look at this snapshot of how Tanked Waterproofing, the company, and our proprietary membrane, Tanked Loose Laid Liner, came into existence to help save an industry fraught with issues. Offering waterproofing and tiling services.